Alrighty, here's part 2. So it says critique, correct, and clarify. Troy made a mistake when he created a recursive definition on the previous screen. He said the first term was 49 and the constant different was 24. How do you think Troy created this recursive definition, and what is something that Troy can improve on? So I want you to take a look at this. So Troy was saying that this is 49 and that we subtracted 24 to get 25. And if we check that in the calculator, it does get us 25. So it works for these terms, but where did the mistake happen? I want you to think about this problem and answer part A and part B in the chat. And when you're all, in the chat box. And then when you're all set, push ahead to slide 7. Slide 7 says sequence challenge number 4. You are going to create a recursive definition for a sequence that makes the fourth term 40. Try to complete this challenge in different and interesting ways. So you're going to work through this problem. Your goal is to get that fourth term to be negative 40. So think about what would we have to multiply, divide, add, or subtract each time to end up with our fourth term being negative 40. You can make an equation, you can work backwards, think ahead, trial and error, whatever way to get that negative 40 as your fourth term. So try that out. Okay. When you can, on slide 8, you can make a challenge. So now it's your turn to design your own sequence challenge. Enter up to 3 terms anywhere on the sequence, and then you're going to go to the next screen. So maybe you want to make this 2, maybe make this 32, and that's great. Know that there is a pattern when you're making these numbers. Make sure you know that there's a pattern that's getting there, and then you'll hit next. And then you are going to write the recursive definition that completes the sequence. So for mine, I'm not going to put what mine is because I don't want people to use my challenge. I want you to be thinking up your own, but maybe I'd figure out what that first term is, and then it is a constant ratio. So I would write what that constant ratio is and then hit submit. After you submit your challenge, it's going to show up here, and you're going to be able to do one of your classmates' challenges on slide 8. So if you get to this slide and you're like one of the first students here, you might want to pause and just wait for some other students to work through the assignment so you can have some challenges to choose from. On slide 9, it says we learned that a recursive definition of a sequence includes the first term and a rule. Describe a strategy for determining the recursive definition of a sequence that meets these requirements. So it has the second term is 6 and the fourth term is 54. You can use this example to explain your thinking, or you can just describe a strategy that you have used in previous, or that we have used as a class in previous slides, and use that as your way to describe how you would go about finding this recursive definition, which would have to have a first term and a rule. On slide 10, it says show what you know. The first term of a sequence is 2. Select all the rules that apply to make that third term 50. So the first one says constant ratio of 5. So 2 times 5 is 10. And 10 times 5 is 50. So this first one would definitely work, and there may also be other ones. So go through and check all of these to see if we start at 2 and do these rules, do we get to the 50 as our third term? Okay, so check the other ones. There is more than one answer. And then finally on slide 11, you're reflecting. I can define a sequence recursively to meet certain requirements, how well you understood the lesson, and how you felt about it. And then make sure once you're finished that you're taking time to submit this into Schoology. A lot of you are. Thank you. That's incredible. If you're not, make sure you're getting into that practice. You have to submit into Schoology once you finish an assignment. Take care of yourselves. Reach out to me if you need anything, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, friends.